So, what is going on, guys? Today we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Legacy United Voyager class Leo Prime. And this is Leo Prime from Beast Wars Neo, or was it 2? I don't know. It's one of those Japanese exclusive anime versions of Beast Wars. They just had those. There's a couple. No idea. Mine's in actually kind of rough shape somehow. He was a desk bot for me at work last year, and then I took him home when I was done for the season. And, well, yeah, he got dinged up because I constantly transformed him all the time. He was just one of those. His chest, if you look at it, you can probably see right there on that hinge, is destroyed. Paint chip there, paint chip on this silver thing. He just paint chipped all over the chest. Everywhere else, though, is pretty solid. It's mostly just that chest that's paint chipped. A little bit on the knees as well, but that's it. And for the most part, he looks pretty good. And he's Leo Prime, so of course he's an Optimus adjacent character. And that's what he is, except he turns into a white lion, which is pretty cool. Turning him around, he kind of has some kibble-tastic stuff going on. He has a slight backpack, but it's mostly these. They are on ball joints, though, so if you did want to get rid of them, you could just take them off. But they are actually weapons, technically. And I've come around on them quite a bit. And, I mean, the colors on them are really good. I do love the red. The blue looks great. The gunmetal pants. You know, we got the gunmetal underwear going on down there. It looks really good, if I'm being honest. The head sculpt, it's close enough to Optimus, like it looks like an Optimus, but obviously it's not. It's a little different, which I'm good with. I like when they do Optimus, but a little bit different. Sometimes it just has to be done, you know? It needs to be a different looking guy. He just needs to be. Design-wise, he is kind of kibble-tastic, though. Like I said, with the shoulders here, you have the lion head, which is supposed to be there, and so is this kind of shoulder pad, which is the butt of the lion mode. These things back here are weapons, which we'll talk about in a second. One thing that's a little odd is just how they have these on the outside, the mushroom pegs for the lion mode feet. They have to, or his feet, I should say. They're not just the lion mode feet, they're literally just his feet as well. And I mean, they're just kind of there. And I mean, it looks good. He does have one little secret little cubby hole, though, which is for a Matrix, kind of. It's actually a Blast Effect compatible port. That's been that way since I've had it. It's always been, like, kind of shoddily painted in there. And that's also why this is all dinged up and everything like that. It's interesting, to say the least. I don't mind it. It looks alright. He does have a fair couple of accessories, starting with his blasters, which are hidden up in his lion's head. Yes, there's a little area you can flip out, and you can give him 2 little pistols, or you can attach them onto his arms, one or the other. I prefer to just make them 2 little itty-bitty pistols, because I think it's kind of cool that he just has these 2 little itty-bitty pea shooters. It's something. They're like little ray guns. They're cool. They're nice. You can also peg them in elsewhere, that being onto the lion mane parts here that are on his arms. You can flip them down and peg them there. But I think they look better being held. But if you do like the lion mane parts, we're just going to put these back up in here real quick just to show you where it's at, because it was kind of off camera when I did it. Ta-da! He actually has 2 more guns, which you can store in his backpack here, and they're easily removed, like so. But these ones are not holdable like the other ones. They actually will function by slotting into the peg, and yeah, so they aren't able to be held like the other ones, but you sure as hell can peg on, even though they have a peg like that, into the hexagon peg. Why? I don't know, but you know what, it's there, it's an option. It's something he can do. It's cool. He does have technically 1 more weapon, and again, before we show that, just to show the storage part, 2 slots in here. And that is where these will lie. Ooh, we've screwed up. We have screwed up. There we are. The last thing is his blades that he has. If you take the lion legs that are hanging off of his forearms and flip them out, you get these. These are actually his sword weapons that, yeah, that he actually does have. So they do something. They're meant to be there. That's cool. And that's his accessories and his weapons, I guess, even though some of them are just parts of him hidden. His articulation's pretty alright, I guess. Rotation at the head, forward and back, outward, a swivel, an elbow. Wrist does not rotate. Waist rotation, forward, back, outward, knee joint, ankle tilt, swivel there. All the pretty basic stuff. There's not really anything missing. He's just a basic articulate boy at this point. And that is basically it for Leo Prime's robot mode. Pretty solid, in my opinion. It's a little kibbly in places, but I'm okay with it, weirdly enough. So let's just get to his transformation, which is a little finicky at times. So we're going to start with the legs, flip in his heels, rotate his feet around, take the lion legs there, and his actual legs, they're pretty much the same thing at this point. Fold them away like that. Next thing, come up here to the chest, and it just splits apart like so. There technically would be room for a matrix in there. Really, though, there would be. Flip the shoulders away, and this will start everything. Open up this section and rotate it, and that hides the head away. Pretty convincingly, I must say. Once you've done that, this is where it starts to get a little bit messy. Take his hands, fold them in. And then his arms here. They're really kind of the finicky part of the transformation, if I'm being honest. They're the most finicky. And they're just kind of weird to get in place. This whole back assembly is on like a hinge part. If you want to move that in as well. At some point, it's just whenever, really. You got to make sure his arms are in the correct spot. Rotate the lion legs around. Take his arms. They don't really peg in anywhere for the time being until you get it kind of situated together, which is kind of the weird part. I wish the arms would peg in elsewhere prior to getting them towards the center where the lion head is. That's where they peg in at, is the lion head, and that is the first point in which they peg in. Make sure his hands are down there. Do that. Once that's been done, make sure his lion legs get pegged in to these red bits. So that'll keep them in place. Take the back section there that would be what would have been the backpack. Fold that in like so. And don't forget to fold out the tail, which I was about to do. I always forget that step for some reason. Make sure everything pegs in all nice and togetherly. Rotate the rear legs around. Make sure we got it all situated in there correctly and everything. And there we are. We have Leo Prime in his lion form, which looks pretty solid, except for, why does he have no pupils? I get that it makes some sense for the robot mode. But otherwise, why does he have no pupils? He looks like the Cowardly Lion. That's one thing to stay. That's just one thing to note with him. He does look like the Cowardly Lion. The robot kibble's not really out there on this mode, which is great. It's a little bit prevalent in the front, but this main does a pretty good job of trying to hide the hands, kind of. Like, they're there, but you're not going to look at them exactly. I mean, he does have his shins on the back, though. That's just a weird thing that always happens. The robot crotch is just there. This is just gray down here. Again, it's just a whole weird mess of things going on. He does still have access to, like, the cannons and stuff that are in his main. Technically, there's a whole battle mode you can do with it, with, like, folding out these parts. And those other parts that I'd shown earlier, I'd put them back in, though, so they're just kind of there. But you have, like, this whole thing where he has, like, 4 cannons coming out of the front of his head. He also has, like, this weird, like, spinning mane thing in the new upcoming one, which has the updated head, which is nice, but I'm not going to get that. I already have this one. This one's good enough. And I mean, it looks pretty good, I guess. You know, there's not really much wrong with it. It's a lion. His articulation doesn't exist. Head doesn't move. The legs move forward, you know. They have some, but not really any useful articulation, if I'm being honest. There's nothing. The mouth opens slightly. Ta-da. Like, that's really it. That is quite literally it. And that is his all form. So let's just get to my final thoughts on him, which are, he's pretty all right, I guess. I mean, he's fun, and it might be a little biased because I actually played around with him a lot, if I'm being honest. He's a really fun figure. But is he worth what he would have been? I mean, yeah, he's kind of one of those guys, though, that shelf-warmed a lot. Like, a lot. Like, I mean a lot. I just popped that off because that did not want to come off. But it's just one of those weird ones. He was the first Legacy Evolution figure I seen on shelves in person because for some reason my Walmart said, I don't like stocking Transformers anymore. They still don't. I go in there and they still have the same deluxes from like a year ago that they have now. There's still Legacy on the shelves at my Walmart. Legacy, like Legacy. Which is honestly insane. There's still Legacy lurking on the shelves, and they don't put them on sale because the name of the line never changed from Legacy, so now they're just like, oh, they're supposed to be there. Nobody buys them. There's 4 deluxes left at my local Walmart. This guy, he had that same fate, though, of being stuck at my local Walmart forever, and that's why I bought him, because he was there, and I was like, you know what, screw it, he's just stuck here. I'm just going to buy him anyway. And I wasn't disappointed by him. He actually pleasantly surprised me and ended up becoming one of my favorite figures I had on my desk easily. Like, genuinely. He was awesome. And then I took him home because, you know, sometimes you got to take them home because why not? I was like, you know what, he deserves the shelf. Because he started getting too scratched up, as you've seen. And that's probably his biggest shortcoming is, well, his paint seems to be very fragile considering how many blemishes there is throughout the figure. You could see throughout the review, even when transforming, there's like bits of blue and red, like paint scratched off in areas. Like in the chest there was a giant blue scratch from his head. Why? I don't know. But there was, and that kind of sucked. But overall, I mean, he is pretty basic. He's not the best thing in the world. And it's mostly just down to if you like this design or not. And I like this design. I'm going to give him a solid 4. He's not a 5 out of 5 worthy figure, but he is fun nonetheless if you do like him. And I don't think anyone will be really mad about getting him. There is also a black and teal version, which always helps. It always helps. Every time when there's like a nemesis, it's always helping. But that's really it for this review of Legacy Evolution. Leo Prime has been Elite signing out.